When we talk about US presidents, one question always comes up. Where do they rank in history? Donald Trump's first term as president, from 2017 to 2021, was one of the most polarizing and eventful in modern American politics. But how does he actually compare? Not just against every president in US history, but more specifically against his modern-day predecessors, George W. Bush, Barack Obama, and Joe Biden. In today's video, we're going to rank Trump across 5 categories: approval ratings, economic performance, foreign policy, domestic policy and leadership, and historical impact. Then, we'll put it all together to see where he stands among the presidents of the 21st century. So, let's dive in. Starting off with Section 1, approval rating. Public approval is one of the clearest windows into a president's connection with the people of the United States. Donald Trump's average approval rating during his first term was around 41%, the lowest of any modern president. What's remarkable is how stable it stayed, rarely above 45%, yet rarely below 38%. This tells us something important. Trump governed with the solid backing of his fan base, but struggled to expand beyond it. Compare that to George W. Bush, who enjoyed sky-high numbers after 9/11, peaking around 90% approval rating. But his ratings collapsed during the Iraq War and the 2008 financial crisis. Barack Obama was steadier, averaging 47% with strong highs during his early years and bumps after events like the bin Laden raid.
The United States has conducted an operation that killed Osama bin Laden.
Joe Biden so far has achieved a 41 to 42%, surprisingly similar to Trump, though his approval has been less consistently tied to one political base. The overall ranking by approval: 1. George W. Bush, Barack Obama, Joe Biden, last place Donald Trump. Section 2 is economic performance. For many Americans, nothing matters more than the economy. Trump's first 3 years in office saw record low unemployment, a booming stock market, and business confidence on the rise. His signature achievement was the 2017 tax cuts, which lowered corporate rates and aimed to stimulate growth. However, the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020 triggered mass unemployment and a sharp recession, wiping away much of those gains in his final year. George W. Bush entered office on the dot-com crash, oversaw recovery, but ended his presidency with the devastating 2008 financial crisis. Barack Obama inherited that crisis, oversaw the recovery, and left office with unemployment cut in half in one of the largest economic expansions in history. Joe Biden came in during the pandemic recovery. His administration has presided over job growth and major investments in infrastructure and manufacturing, but inflation has been a major political drag. The ranking of economy: Number 1, Barack Obama, Donald Trump, Joe Biden, last place George W. Bush. Moving into Section 3, foreign policy and global standing. Foreign policy is where most presidents often make their mark on history. Trump's approach was defined by his, quote, America First policy.
I withdrew the United States from the unfair and one-sided Paris Climate Accord.
He withdrew from the Paris Climate Accord and the Iran nuclear deal, questioned NATO allies, and held dramatic summits with North Korea's Kim Jong-un. His supporters say he stood up for American interests. His critics argue that U.S. global standing declined and traditional alliances weakened. Bush's foreign policy was dominated by the war on terror. His initial response to 9/11 built strong international unity, but the Iraq War shattered that, and his presidency became defined by controversy abroad. Obama worked to restore America's alliances. He signed the Paris Climate Accord, reached the Iran deal, and authorized the raid that killed Osama bin Laden. Critics, however, point to Syria and Libya as failures. Biden emphasized rebuilding alliances, supporting Ukraine against Russia, and rejoining international agreements. His withdrawal from Afghanistan was widely criticized, but he has restored America's place in NATO and global coalitions. Ranking of foreign policy: 1. Barack Obama, Joe Biden, Donald Trump, last place George W. Bush. Section 4, domestic policy and leadership style. At home, a president's leadership can shape the laws we live under for decades. Donald Trump's biggest domestic achievements include the 2017 tax reform, widespread deregulation, and his 3 Supreme Court appointments: Neil Gorsuch, Brett Kavanaugh, and Amy Coney Barrett. These appointments shifted the court decisively to the right, influencing rulings for over generations. However, Trump's handling of the COVID-19 pandemic and the intense polarization during his term raised major questions about his leadership style. George W. Bush left behind education reform with No Child Left Behind and a major Medicare drug benefit. but his handling of Hurricane Katrina damaged his domestic reputation. Barack Obama's signature achievement was the Affordable Care Act, along with financial reforms after the recession. Joe Biden has passed an infrastructure law, climate legislation, and the CHIPS Act to boost U.S. manufacturing. His leadership style has been less confrontational through polarization, and Congress continues. Ranking of domestic leadership. First place, Barack Obama, Joe Biden, Donald Trump, last place, George W. Bush. Moving into the final section, Section 5, Historical Impact and Legacy, so far. Finally, let's step back and think about legacy. Trump's presidency left a huge imprint on American politics. His judicial appointments alone will shape law for decades. His populist style reshaped the American party. And of course, his role in the events of January 6, 2021 ensures he will be remembered as one of the most polarizing figures in U.S. history. George W. Bush will be remembered for the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, as well as the financial crisis of 2008. Barack Obama's legacy will be historic as the first black president of the United States, with landmark achievements like the Affordable Care Act, his role in restoring America's global image, and the killing of Osama bin Laden. Joe Biden's legacy, his presidency will be defined by managing the post-pandemic recovery and his leadership during the war in Ukraine. Ranking legacy so far. First place, Barack Obama, Donald Trump, George W. Bush, and last place, Joe Biden. In conclusion, where does Donald Trump rank among modern presidents of the 21st century? If we look at the 5 categories talked about, Trump comes out last in approval rating, second in economy, third in foreign policy, third in domestic leadership, and second in historical impact. Put together, here's the composite ranking from 2000 to present day. First place, Barack Obama. Second place, Donald Trump. Third place, George W. Bush. Fourth place, Joe Biden. Of course, history is always being rewritten. Trump's second term, which is currently underway, will add a new chapter to his legacy. But when we judge his first term in office, it's clear that he stands as one of the most impactful, yet controversial, presidents in modern history. So, what do you think? Does Trump deserve to be ranked second among 21st century presidents? Or should he be higher or lower? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.